Hello, welcome back to Robots Retro Spaces. We're up to video number 7 today. So today I'm just going to give an update on the engine and where we're at with the car and what's next. So it's been a few months since the engine came out, so some stuff has been happening and I'm still fairly okay with overall progress. My target is that by the end of the year, if the engine is back in the car and the car is painted, then I will be very happy. So that's the target. So what's up with the engine? Well, the engine has been taken down to the specialist. The specialist has been working on it. They've stripped it. Here's some photos. They're really good guys. I went down to check it out and they're all happy to talk about the car and talk about what they're doing. The engine itself was in pretty good shape. Crankshaft was fine, a little bit of corrosion on the outside of the case. There'd been a little bit of water seepage into one of the cylinders, but that wasn't so bad. One piston needs to be changed. The lobes on the camshaft needed to be redone, and the seals needed to be done, but nothing that I would consider to be a real issue. So I'm quite happy with how the engine is looking so far. While I was down there, I also picked up the impeller, and I'll explain why in a couple of moments. The only other thing that's happened is I put up a special video about the wings, or fenders if you're American. I did a lot of reading. I watched a lot of videos when I was tackling these fenders, and not once did anyone talk about spot welding in the fenders in the door jamb. So that was a big surprise for me. So I've done a separate video on that, hopefully so that anyone else in my position does not get caught out the same way I did and start trying to jiggle off their fender and put a dent in the corner. So I'm really hopeful that it will help some people. Taking those fenders off were fiddly, but not super difficult. If it wasn't for that spot weld in the door jamb on both sides, it would have actually been a reasonably good task. To get the fenders off though, we had to strip some other stuff, and that's been the real focus of what's been happening with the car. So to get the fenders off, the front bumpers had to come off, so I'd already taken off the back bumpers. And when the front bumpers came off, so did the lights, and so did the side trim along the bottom of the doors, because you have to take off a bit of it to get the fenders off anyway, so I just took off the whole lot on both sides. Other things that have come off is the gas tank. The gas tank's out now. That is actually in fairly good shape, so I'm going to take that down to the sandblaster and get him to sandblast the bottom half of it, because the top half is fine, and make sure that we're in pretty good shape. And if it is, then we'll just reseal it and it'll go back in the car. Original gas tank. It'll be really lovely. Here we go. One Porsche Sans gas tank. My gas tank's still in pretty good shape, so I feel that I will be able to give it a bit of a clean and a refurb, and it should be good. And hopefully this is the last of the acorns. Oil tank is on its way out. Oil tank is going to be interesting. After that has been sandblasted, be curious to see if it's still usable, but we'll wait and see. And the other thing that came off was the door trim, because I was a little bit worried that I would have to take off some other bits in relation to the door to get that fender off when I was still trying to decide how to deal with the spot welding in the fender. But it turned out that I didn't need to take the door off, but I took the door card off anyway, because it has, and all the door trim off anyway, because it has to come off. So that's where we're at. And here's a video of what the wings look like. Alright, so here is just the inside of the wings. You'll see here that we have the majority of our rust. If I go all the way up and along, see that it's actually not too bad. It's just in a couple of spots that it's at its worst. If we check out the other wing, here we go. We move up the wing, so you got your bits in here, it's actually, once again, could be much worse. So what's happening right now? All the trim has been off to be blasted and then polished or chromed. I'll have some photos of that soon, but I do have a photo of all the bits that have been blasted here. You'll notice that one of the bits was the impeller. It looks so good. We need to make a decision about what to do about it. A lot of people seem to have powder coated theirs, but I think I'm leaning towards the original finish, which was chromate, but we'll wait and see. I'm told that I don't have to get the window trims anodized, which is would be quite nice actually. But I need to make a final decision on whether or not I want to take that risk. Don't want to put them in and then have them fade very fast. And then the surrounds for the headlights, they were body color, but they should be chrome. So I'm getting a quote for chroming at the moment. I know I can get second-hand ones for about €30, but if I can try and keep the original parts with the car, I know it will be the right thing to do. So we'll just have to cross fingers and hope that that quote isn't too expensive. The other thing that's happening right now is that the engine is being put back together. There'll need to be some decisions made there, but my intention right now is to try and keep it as stock as possible. And the wings will be going off to a specialist. They're just so important, and we've got enough work as it is prepping the rest of the car, so might as well take a bit of the pressure off and have a professional do the wings. So I'm hopeful to find that I've found a specialist that will be able to take care of the wings and get them up to a reasonable standard. So that's what's happening now. What's happening next? I need to make some decisions about the doors. The chrome trim on the top of the doors has to come off to be re-chromed. The door handles, trying to decide if I should take them off or not to be re-chromed. The door frames, once again, should I take them out or not to be re-chromed? I'm not quite sure. Leaning towards taking them out, but haven't made a final decision. And then it's just the rear seats, the front seats, and the dashboard. So I reckon it's probably one full day of work to strip the car back, and then it's off to be prepped for painting. So I think that I am still quite hopeful that I will be able to meet my target of having the car painted with the engine back in it by the end of this year. So fingers crossed. I think it's a reasonable target. If you have any questions, as always, just let us know. Any tips, please just bring them on. Otherwise, we'll talk to you all soon. Bye.